Family. It's about connecting to something bigger than yourself. We'll face it.
The FF First Step is imagined as a bold and emotionally grounded superhero origin film that reintroduces a legendary team through a modern, character-driven lens. Rather than rushing into large-scale spectacle, the story focuses on beginnings, mistakes, and the fragile trust that forms when ordinary people are pushed into extraordinary circumstances. The film treats the idea of becoming heroes not as destiny, but as a process filled with fear, doubt, and unintended consequences. Its tone balances wonder and seriousness, presenting a world on the brink of transformation where science, ambition, and human error collide. At the center of the story are four individuals whose lives intersect through a groundbreaking scientific project meant to push humanity forward. Each character enters the story with distinct motivations and emotional baggage, making their eventual transformation feel personal rather than mythical. The film emphasizes who they are before the powers arrive, allowing the audience to understand their relationships, tensions, and unspoken conflicts. Their bond is not instantly heroic. It is built on familiarity, rivalry, and shared history. Laying the foundation for both unity and fracture, the lead figure is portrayed as a brilliant yet impulsive scientist, driven by curiosity and the desire to leave a meaningful mark on the world. His intellect is undeniable, but so is his tendency to push boundaries without fully considering the consequences. This flaw becomes central to the story as his choices set the entire narrative in motion. He's not framed as a flawless visionary, but as someone whose ambition blinds him to risks, forcing him to confront responsibility once events spiral beyond control. Alongside him is a deeply loyal partner, grounded and pragmatic, often acting as the emotional anchor of the group. This character brings warmth and empathy, serving as the connective tissue that holds the team together during moments of doubt and conflict. Her strength is not just physical but emotional, as she navigates the strain of supporting others while processing her own transformation. The film highlights her resilience and compassion, positioning her as a moral compass rather than a secondary presence. Another member of the team is characterized by a quiet sense of isolation, someone who has long felt invisible even among friends. His journey is one of self-acceptance, as his transformation forces him to confront feelings of alienation and fear. The film treats his struggle with sensitivity, using his perspective to explore themes of identity and belonging. His arc becomes a powerful reflection on how being seen can be both liberating and terrifying. The fourth member adds a contrasting energy, defined by intensity and internal conflict. His transformation is portrayed as the most volatile, amplifying existing emotional wounds and unresolved anger. The film does not shy away from the darker aspects of his experience, showing how power can magnify inner turmoil rather than resolve it. His arc introduces tension within the group, challenging the idea that shared experience automatically leads to harmony. The plot accelerates when the scientific experiment goes catastrophically wrong, altering the lives of everyone involved. The event is depicted not as a triumphant breakthrough, but as a moment of shock and irreversible change. The aftermath is chaotic and disorienting, with each character reacting differently to their new reality. The film lingers on these early moments of confusion, pain, and disbelief, grounding the fantastical elements in raw human emotion. As the characters begin to understand their abilities, the story resists the urge to glorify power. Instead, it focuses on the consequences, both physical and psychological. The team struggles to control their transformations, leading to accidents and public incidents that attract unwanted attention. These moments create external pressure from authorities and corporations, eager to exploit or suppress what they do not understand. The film frames heroism as something that must be earned through accountability rather than granted by circumstance. A major thread of the narrative involves the ethical implications of their creation. The experiment that gave them their powers becomes a point of contention, raising questions about scientific responsibility and ambition. Conflicts arise within the group as blame is assigned and trust begins to erode. The film uses these tensions to explore how easily unity can fracture under stress. Even among people who care deeply for one another, the antagonist of the story is not portrayed as purely evil, but as a reflection of the same scientific drive that created the heroes. This character represents what happens when ambition is pursued without restraint, serving as a dark mirror to the team's own choices. The conflict between them is rooted as much in ideology as in physical confrontation, emphasizing the thin line between innovation and destruction. This approach adds thematic depth, making the stakes feel personal rather than abstract visually. The film is imagined with a grounded, modern aesthetic that blends realism with moments of awe. The powers are presented as unsettling and unpredictable rather than flashy, reinforcing the idea that transformation comes at a cost. Action sequences are designed to feel chaotic and dangerous, emphasizing inexperience and vulnerability rather than mastery. This choice keeps the audience invested in the characters' growth rather than overwhelming them with spectacle. The cast is envisioned as a strong ensemble, with performances that prioritize emotional authenticity over exaggerated heroics. Each actor brings nuance to their role, allowing the characters to feel flawed and relatable. The chemistry between the team evolves naturally, shifting from strained alliances to cautious trust. This gradual progression makes their eventual cooperation feel earned and meaningful. As the story approaches its climax, the team is forced to confront the consequences of their actions on a larger scale. A crisis emerges that cannot be solved through individual strength alone, demanding cooperation and sacrifice. This moment becomes the true test of whether they can move beyond blame and fear to act as a unit. The film frames this choice as the real first step, not the acquisition of powers, but the decision to stand together despite uncertainty. The resolution of the film is intentionally restrained, avoiding a complete sense of closure. While the immediate threat is addressed, the characters are left facing a future filled with questions and challenges. Their relationships remain complex, and the world's response to their existence is far from settled. This open-ended conclusion reinforces the idea that heroism is an ongoing journey rather than a single defining moment. In terms of release, the film is imagined as a major cinematic event that signals a fresh start for a beloved franchise. Its arrival is positioned as an invitation for both longtime fans and new audiences to rediscover these characters in a more grounded and emotionally resonant form. The timing emphasizes renewal and reinvention, aligning with the film's thematic focus on beginnings. The trailer for The FF First Step is envisioned as atmospheric and character-focused, highlighting emotional beats and moments of transformation rather than revealing the full scope of the story. Quick flashes of the experiment, strained relationships, and glimpses of emerging powers set the tone without spoiling key developments. The emphasis is on intrigue and emotional weight, encouraging viewers to invest in the character's journey from the very first frame. Overall, The FF First Step is imagined as a thoughtful reimagining of an iconic origin story, prioritizing character, consequence, and emotional truth. It reframes the concept of superhero beginnings as something uncertain and fragile, shaped by choices rather than fate. By focusing on the human cost of transformation and the difficult path toward unity, the film delivers a compelling foundation for a new era, reminding audiences that every legend begins not with triumph, but with a single, uncertain step.